There's a certain kind of person who, no matter what life throws at them, insults, setbacks, chaos, remains completely unfazed. It's like they're standing still in the middle of a storm, untouched. Ever wondered what they know that most people don't? The average person moves through life reacting to everything. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they explode. A coworker throws a passive-aggressive comment their way. Their whole day is ruined. A stranger gives them a weird look. Suddenly, they're questioning their worth. But what if you could break free from all of that? What if no one and nothing had the power to shake you ever again? Carl Jung had a theory. Most people are prisoners of their own reactions. They walk around thinking the world is acting upon them, causing their emotions, their stress, their suffering. But in reality, the outside world is simply a mirror, reflecting back the things inside us we haven't yet come to terms with. Nothing can affect you unless it finds something in you to stick to. If someone calls you stupid and you feel angry, maybe deep down you fear they might be right. If someone ignores you and you feel hurt, maybe it's because you're still seeking approval from others. That's why two people can face the exact same situation and come out with completely different reactions. It's not about the event, it's about what's going on inside. Jung called this shadow work, the practice of uncovering the unconscious patterns driving your responses. Every irritation, every frustration, every emotional trigger is like a flare from within. It's your inner world trying to show you something you haven't yet healed. Most people run from these signals. They distract themselves, they numb the feeling, or they blame others. That guy made me angry. She ruined my day. But those who start to wake up realize something radical. The outer world is just a reflection of your inner landscape. The moment you truly get this, everything shifts. You unlock the power to shape your reality, not by controlling everything around you, but by mastering yourself. And here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people don't want to hear that. It's easier to blame your boss, your ex, your luck. It's easier to believe that life is unfair than to accept that maybe you're the one giving everything its power over you. But for those brave enough to stop blaming and start observing, a new kind of freedom opens up. You don't need to avoid toxic people or control every situation. You just stop reacting. You don't become emotionless. You become unshakable. Here's the truth that most people resist. We spend our lives trying to control things we were never meant to control. We want people to like us. We want everything to go according to plan. And when it doesn't, we spiral, frustrated, disappointed, even angry. Someone disrespects us, and we take it personally. Life throws a curveball, and we feel like the universe is testing us. But none of that is actually under our control, except for one thing, our perception. Carl Jung understood something profound that many never realize. The world outside of you is neutral. It's not good or bad, fair or unfair. It just is. The only thing that determines whether something feels positive or negative is the filter through which you view it. Think of two people who both go through a breakup, lose money, or fail at something important. One collapses into despair, convinced they've lost everything. The other sees it as a redirection, a chance to grow, to start fresh. The only difference between them is how they interpret the situation. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." That means as long as you're unaware of the beliefs and narratives you carry about success, about people, about yourself, you'll keep reacting blindly. You'll think life is happening to you, when in reality, it's happening through you. And the more you try to control the external world, the more you give it control over you. Think about this. The moment you need someone to respect you, they hold power over you. The moment you need a specific outcome, it owns you. The moment you demand life to be fair, you set yourself up for suffering. But when you stop clinging to control, things begin to shift. Suddenly, you're free. Free from needing approval. Free from fearing failure. Free from the exhausting habit of trying to make the world fit your expectations. And here's the paradox. When you stop needing things to go your way, they often do. When you let go of trying to please people, you become more authentic, and people are drawn to that. When you stop chasing success out of fear, opportunities seem to show up effortlessly. This isn't just some feel-good philosophy, it's grounded in science. Cognitive psychology shows that the more you try to control something, whether it's a person, a result, or even your own thoughts, the more resistance you create. That's why people who are desperate for love often push it away. Why those terrified of failure end up sabotaging themselves. Why the ones who cling to control often feel the most powerless. The real question is this: are you reacting to life, or are you choosing your perception in each moment? Because once you realize that nothing outside of you has power over you, life becomes a very different experience. Let's go deeper. Imagine you're walking down the street, minding your own business, and someone suddenly yells an insult at you. Maybe they call you weak, foolish, or say you'll never succeed. What's your immediate reaction? For most people, it's instant defense or emotional pain. Their heart rate spikes, their mind starts spinning, replaying the insult again and again. But imagine something radically different. You hear the insult, and nothing happens. No emotional spike, no anger, just a quiet realization that has nothing to do with me. That's the essence of being untouchable. It's not that the world stops being chaotic or cruel. It's that you stop giving it permission to define you. The Stoics knew this. Zen masters lived by it. Carl Jung pointed to the same truth. Nothing outside of you has the power to disturb you unless you allow it. But most people can't access that calm because they're trapped in a false identity, a fragile version of themselves built on opinions, validation, and outcomes. When someone insults them, it's not just a rude comment. It feels like an attack on their very sense of self. That's why the reaction is so strong. Jung spoke about the shadow self, the hidden parts of our psyche where we store all the fears, insecurities, and unresolved wounds we don't want to face. When someone triggers you, they're not creating pain, they're revealing pain that's already there. Think about it. If you were truly at peace with who you are, would an insult really matter? It would be like shouting at a mountain. The sound just echoes back, empty. So, when something upsets you, the real question is, why? Why did those words hit so hard? Is it because you fear they might be true? Is it because you still crave validation? Or is it because you're deeply attached to a certain outcome or image of yourself? This is the shift. The problem isn't them, it's how you see yourself. The true power isn't in silencing the world or eliminating every challenge. It's in building a mind so steady, so self-aware, that none of it sticks. You don't crumble under pressure. You don't seek approval to feel whole. And that's not just an idea, it's science. Emotional reactivity is a habit. Your brain forms neural pathways that reinforce reactions, making them feel automatic. But the good news? You can rewire it. Through mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and exposure to discomfort, you can train your brain to respond differently. Over time, insults stop landing. Failure no longer defines you. Uncertainty doesn't shake you. And that's when you become truly untouchable, not because the world has changed, but because you have. There's something strange about human nature. We think we're reacting to the world, but what we're really reacting to is ourselves. Take insults, for example. The words themselves are just sounds. The pain? That comes from the meaning we attach to them. It's not the outside world causing harm. It's the internal wounds those words uncover. Carl Jung understood this deeply. He once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." That's a hard truth, but it's also liberating, because it means you can change everything by looking inward. Think about a mirror. If your reflection frowns at you, you don't get mad at the mirror. You know it's just showing what you're doing. But in life, we don't apply the same logic. When someone triggers us, we assume they're the problem. We demand they change. But in reality, they're just reflecting something we haven't yet dealt with inside. Why do we give them so much power? The answer is attachment. When your identity is tied to external things, opinions, achievements, validation, you'll always be at their mercy. But what if you stopped playing that game? What if instead of reacting, you simply observed? That's what true detachment is. And no, it's not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming unshakable. It's realizing that you are not your emotions. You're the awareness behind them. Picture a storm. Lightning, wind, thunder. It's loud and wild. But above all of that, the sky. Clear, vast, untouched. That's you. You're the sky. The storm is just passing weather. This is why the greatest power isn't in controlling everything around you. It's in controlling how you see it. And here's the beautiful part. Once you stop reacting, the world starts responding to you. People can feel it. You become centered, grounded, and calm. Suddenly, you're no longer easy to manipulate. You're no longer influenced by every opinion or setback. You've taken back your energy, and that changes everything. So the real question becomes, how do you step into this untouchable presence? It starts with awareness, with the understanding that you've never been reacting to the world, only to your mind's interpretation of it. Two people can face the same exact moment and walk away with completely different feelings. One shrugs, the other stews for hours. Why? Because the response was never about the situation. It was always about perception. Jung often returned to the concept of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide, the truths we suppress. These are the things that secretly run our lives. The words, the people, the situations that trigger us, they're pressing on those hidden parts. So instead of pushing those emotions down or blaming the world for bringing them up, study them. Let them show you where you're still carrying pain, where you're still not free. So how do you train yourself to stay calm, to observe instead of react? It begins by shifting your awareness, moment by moment. Imagine life as a giant chessboard. Most people are like the pieces, constantly being moved, reacting to every change. But real power? It's in being the player. Better yet, the observer watching the entire game unfold from above, seeing every move before it happens. That's emotional mastery. It's not about suppressing what you feel. It's about understanding your emotions so clearly, so deeply, that they no longer control you. This is the art of becoming untouchable, not hardened, not cold, but powerful, because you're no longer ruled by unconscious reactions. You're no longer trapped in the story that the world is against you. And here's what happens when you stop reacting. Everything shifts. People can feel it. You stop chasing validation, and suddenly, people are drawn to your presence. You stop feeding into negativity, and it loses its grip on you. You stop being a puppet pulled by the world, and you start pulling the strings yourself. It all comes down to self-awareness in real time. Every single moment, you have two options: react mindlessly or observe consciously. The next time someone pushes your buttons, catch that moment, the split second before your response. You'll feel it rise in your body, the tension, the emotion. But instead of acting on it, pause. Just observe, like a scientist watching an experiment, curious, detached. That pause, that's your power. With practice, it becomes second nature. You start to notice your old patterns before they take over. You stop giving away your energy to every little insult, disappointment, or unexpected turn. And the more you train this muscle, the stronger it gets. The less you need the world to behave a certain way, the less you crave approval, the less you fear failure. At that point, you don't just feel calm, you become calm. You don't just avoid chaos, you stay centered within it. And here's the key. The moment you stop letting the world pull your strings, you take back control. Master your reactions, and you master your reality. If this resonates with you, ask yourself, what's one reaction you're ready to stop giving power to? Leave a comment below and let it go right now. And if you're ready to keep strengthening your mind, hit that like button and subscribe, because the journey to becoming untouchable is just getting started. See you in the next one.